Hey guys, it's Postbox Pat. Welcome back to a new Battle Royale video requested by many subscribers, and this is back to the How to Win Every Single Time series, taking it back straight to that. I know this isn't going to help every single player out there, so if you class yourself as a professional player or a pro, or definitely extremely above average, this probably isn't really going to help you. But if you're struggling to get wins in Fortnite on any device, this technique will almost guarantee you top 10 every single time, and possibly guarantee you a win every single time, depending on how good you are at the end game sort of stuff, which we'll talk about towards the end. So it's an AFK style. Simply what you do is you get into the battle bus and sit in the battle bus. Don't jump out until the battle bus kicks you out, and then as soon as the battle bus kicks you out, you want to pull your glider. Now this is a technique which I showed off back in season 4 or 5. I was one of the first people to do a video on it, and it's a technique which is very effective. You can see I'm doing it right here. I'm going to speed up the gameplay throughout because there isn't really much action, but it's what I do in this footage and how I do it that gets me the win in Fortnite. So it's really awesome, and this is how I get wins if I need wins. For example, if there's a challenge like the umbrella that you could get at the start of season 8, this is the sort of technique I would do to guarantee myself a win 100% every time. Obviously, it depends how good you are at the end game. Personally, I'm quite good at the end game. Sometimes I can get unlucky, but if you're good at the end game, this is really going to help you guys out a lot, and you're going to be able to get an easy win. So what I'm doing here is I'm thinking, where's the circle going to be? And as soon as the circle has located on the map, that is when you dive down. So you glide towards the middle of the map. Personally, I started to glide towards the pirate ship because I predicted that the circle was going to be there, and I predicted it correct, which was really awesome. Now there are two techniques to this, and we'll talk about the standard technique which we're doing right now. This technique is going to allow you to get high resources, and if the circle happens to be above an area where you can get max mats pretty quickly, for example the pirate ship technique, which I've already showed off in a previous tips and tricks video, this one is very useful. You simply just have to mine the sails, make sure you mine the upper half of the sail, and you'll guarantee yourself a lot of resources. Now there is a guy around here, so what I'm going to try and do is take this guy out. I wouldn't usually recommend rushing someone straight away on this tactic, but for this situation I have to fight this guy just because it's the sort of situation I'm in. Unfortunately, he was at the boat well before me, but luckily I get some nice easy shots off at him. Pretty bad shots there with my SMG, but it's alright. I can kind of come around here. I know he's around here somewhere, and hit that shotgun shot there and take the W against him pretty easily. So once I've got that, now I'm in a position where I can kind of grab up, loot up the weapons that I need. I'm just going to speed up the gameplay, get my shields ready and stuff, and again, I'm going a little bit AFK here. That's why I've put AFK style in this and kind of talk about it, because you don't have to be 100% active to get this style to work every single time. For example, say if you need to go and get your dinner out, or you need to go and grab someone or let someone in, that's perfectly fine. You've got time to do that in this tactic because what you've done is you've purposely landed in the circle. So this allows me to loot up a lot of resources inside the ship. Here you can see me looking at them funny chickens up there, and I get to kind of explore the map more doing this technique. So I'm just getting myself max wood, making sure I've got a lot of mats for the end game. Now I'm in a position where I can rotate over to the stone farm area. If you don't know where that is, simply follow me that I'm doing, well, where I'm going right now on screen. You can see I rotate over here, and this section right here, you can guarantee yourself max stone without even destroying all of the stones, which is really awesome. So I've basically got 1,000 mats, which to be honest isn't that much compared to the old days of Fortnite, but nowadays that is 2/3 of your mats maxed out, so you're pretty much set, ready for the game, kind of. Obviously I need metal. Metal can be quite hard to come across now though, in my opinion, so usually I don't go to max that out. I'll just mine it if I see something made of metal. So what I'm doing here, kind of risking it, building it across, but I thought, you know, nothing wrong with having a few risky moments sometimes in Fortnite. If you want to take the risk, feel free to do it, but I wouldn't recommend doing anything like that usually in a normal game if you're going for a W. So here I am mining up, or sorry, looting up. I'm not exactly mining, but I'm trying to mine a bit of metal as well, getting up with some awesome kind of weapons and stuff. Now when it comes to loadouts, personally my favorite loadout would be for this tactic. It would be an AR, a shotgun, and maybe a suppressed or maybe it's SMG, depending on which ones are in the game at the current time. We don't know when the SMGs are going to get changed out again, but you can see here I'm using a suppressed SMG, AR, and I have my pump shotgun in the middle of my inventory loadout. I think having your inventory loadout set to the way you want is pretty key, and something to note that I'm doing right now is I am setting my balloons ready to go. So simply I'm kind of thinking of where the circle is going to relocate. We've got 22 seconds, 21 seconds, and it's ticking down at double speed because I've sped up the gameplay. But what we're doing here is we're kind of positioning ourselves ready. You can see I'm taking a look, thinking where's the circle next going to go. I'm thinking maybe towards the retail area, and I was correct. So what I do now is I grab the balloons again, I drop the balloons so I can pick up my SMG, I use the balloons to get height, and I usually wouldn't use the balloons in this sort of situation. Maybe I'd use a baller or something like that, which I'll talk about towards the end of the video because you can use ballers for rotation. What I'm using here is the balloons and the gliders to rotate to the circle, keeping that edge circle or on edge of the circle, should I say. Every single game is really key, keeping to the edge. So when the storm comes in, you've got no one behind you. Well, there still potentially could be someone behind you, but there's an unlikely chance of that happening. So it's pretty awesome to note that down in your books when you're trying to do this kind of tactic that I'm playing here. Again, if a supply drops by you and you think you have the opportunity to access these supply drops, go and do that. For some reason, I decided to take the scoped AR here just for the idea of kind of unlocking the location of people. That's the only reason I'd use this kind of thermal scoped AR, so I could kind of locate people. And again, I'm going for these supply drops. Focusing these supply drops straight away, being one of the first to rotate into them, is pretty useful. The unlucky side of going for these supply drops is obviously potential. Well, there is a chance really of someone else coming towards them supply drops. Picking up an RPG was an easy cop, and when I usually get an RPG, I feel like I'm a much stronger player because obviously they're very overpowered. I know they have been nerfed a lot, so if you do get your hands on an RPG, you will kind of be set. And then making the decision to drop my redeploy gliders there, I don't know if that's a good or a bad decision. And again, going AFK for a bit, need to grab something quickly in real life, maybe go to the toilet or something. That's what I did in this situation. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it may have been a phone call or something. See why this AFK type style of play does work for getting an easy W, and I won't recommend it because it can be quite boring. But if you've got something important that you need to be doing when you're in the middle of the game, there's no harm in taking a little break. It's just like camping in an area. So I was there for about 30 seconds, and then I see an opponent up here. I know I've drunk my slurp for this fight, and the reason I drunk my slurp for this fight, it's just in case I get shot. And I knew this guy would probably have some loot that I'll want, because obviously there's only 13 players left now, one including myself obviously, so that puts down to 12 players. I know I can kill this guy pretty easily. I've drunk that slurp as well, which is useful because it's kind of regenerating me in this fight. I get the kill, and the slurp again is holding off the storm from damaging me. And I know this guy would have dropped something surely that I really want, and it looks like he's dropped some gliders, which I think will come in really handy. So I managed to take his gliders, and then I run back into the circle. So sacrificing my gliders for a slurp, which come in handy to regen me a little bit. I guess it didn't fully help out because obviously I'm not regenning now, and it probably would have been more useful to consume it now. But you never know what's going to happen in fights like that. I could have took a lot of damage. Maybe he have if he had an explosive weapon or something, I would have taken a lot of damage. But I also knew there was a campfire just down the road, so I was lucky enough to use that to heal back up to 100. So again, positioning is key, and what I'm doing right now, I know there's only 11 enemies remaining. I've only got 2 kills, which isn't the best, but it doesn't matter about kills. This is all about going for the win, and I'm in a position now where I'm going to rotate around the top of the circle. You'll notice when I'm rotating here, the way I'm doing this is keeping myself tight to the storm, but not right against the storm. So I've got kind of a view to my right and a view to my left to see if anyone else is doing this sort of tactic, and then rotating up the mountain, but keeping eyes out on all angles. The only angle I haven't checked is behind me, and if I get shot up the mountain, I'm pretty much like guaranteed safety because I'm kind of already on the high ground and I can just build and just block the bullets basically if I get shot. I doubt anyone is going to snipe me. If someone does snipe me, that's just a very good shot, and you just have to face your fate there from someone who's got a really good snipe on you, and you just have to take the L. That's the way I think of it anyway. And if someone does hit a snipe like that, fair play to them. They've done a really good job to be able to take you out like that. But now I've positioned myself in a perfect location in my opinion. We're on the narrow point of the circle, which means you can stay on the outer side of like the next circle for a little bit longer, because obviously the narrower the point is, the less chance the circle has of fully closing quickly. If you get what I mean by that, basically what I'm trying to say is the narrower it is on the map, it's going to close a lot slower. So obviously there isn't really a chance in it because it's guaranteed, but that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just kind of saying a chance because I don't know, because this thing, the whole way of using this mechanism tactic type thing is all risky, because everything you do in Fortnite is risky. Anyone could be around any corner, and you have to consider that at all times. But applying this to most games, you'll get the hang of it, and you will easily take W's by doing this. So what I'm doing again is positioning myself on the high ground, but kind of heading up nicely, getting an easy position to keep the enemies off. And you know, this high ground is going to come in really handy because no one else is going to have it unless someone else is already up here. So a useful technique, I've managed to climb to the highest point currently in the circle, and it's something that I do advise. And I've positioned myself in quite a nice spot because I do also have that kind of like escape route if I needed inside of the little new kind of, I've forgotten what they're called, but the things that blow air out of the ground, which you can go in the air holes. You can go and grab in one of them and you'll be pretty sorted. So what I'm doing here is getting in a nice spot, and I'm going to try and glitch using one of my techniques, which it's not exactly a glitch, it's just using the pyramids to kind of get a good view. Unfortunately, I actually built it wrong. I realized that you need an upside down, like, how do you say, it's like a V shape, is it? for the pyramid. I don't know how you describe that shape. Watch here, you'll see me change this over right now for you guys. What I do is actually change the design that I built for this, and obviously the other design allows me to see a lot better. Currently I'm not getting much of a view here. The pyramid is useful. I'm a bit concerned that my banana peely skin, should I say, my banana peely is kind of popping all the way through. You know, when you're doing glitches like this, it's not exactly a glitch, I don't know why I call it a glitch, but when you're doing this sort of method, you kind of worry if your peely guys like poking through. But you can get in a better position if you do that V shape. You can stand in the middle of the pyramid and obviously have a better view. So I'm getting a good view of people around me, and I know this is kind of a newbie tactic, just camping around and not even rushing in, but what it does, it allows you to see if any enemies are close and be able to take them out in this position. It's all about position in this tactic. You can see I'm right on the edge of the circle, maybe even outside of the circle slightly, which can be a little bit negative, but that's okay because I can move in. I can see someone with a baller in front of me. We'll get to talking about ballers at the end of this video, because to be honest, ballers and even drift boards are probably two of the best rotational vehicles that we currently have. I do like using the same tactic I'm doing in this video right now, but rather than using cannons and balloons to rotate to the circle, I would use a baller. That doesn't always work because it depends where the circle is going. In this current game, when I dived down, I knew where I wanted to go, and obviously I didn't get the opportunity to pick a location which had a baller because most likely they would have already been taken. So I kind of made the decision, you know, we've got no location that's going to guarantee a baller with the spawn rate is 50% now for the baller, so you got to make sure you kind of consider what's going on. But what I've done here is lifted up my portal, or fort should I say, and obviously this is kind of my gateway to the outside world outside of here. So I'm here just camping, keeping myself in a good position, looking out for enemies at all time. There is actually a guy in that bush down there to my right. I'm tempted to taking him out, or at least giving a few shots at him, but I thought, you know, just let him be that guy. There's just no point of engaging. I'm sure someone will eventually come across him. We're in a pretty peaceful position. Obviously, if I can get a few opportunities to get a few shots off, I will definitely take them, but I've got to be careful because I know that guy's in the bush and there's a guy across the way from me who've definitely got eyes on me as well. So I'm kind of just keeping myself low. Really, if someone destroys one of my structure pieces, I'll just replace it straight away, unless someone is really heavy firing at me from two different angles, like there's two people, then I'd be a bit concerned that I may need to move out of here quick or do something fast. But currently I know I've got a pretty good position locked down. That guy's trying to build up to maybe get a snipe shot on me. He's kind of moved now, he's engaged with someone else, so I know that guy's kind of lost attention from me, so I'm keeping eyes out. Luckily a perfect position for myself because you can see the storm didn't really affect me, and again I'm bang on in the middle of the next circle. Now there being quite a few people left for this endgame type circle, I was a bit concerned that the circle was a little bit too small, and I also was going to be bang on in the middle. So as soon as the next circle starts moving, I will definitely start moving with it. That is something you've got to consider in these situations. Now one thing to note is I actually didn't go and win this game, and it was a very unlucky ending. I will show the ending in replay. I did everything right, all the positioning and everything, and simply one guy just hiding under a statue's foot caused him to survive, and you'll see it in the gameplay in a second towards the end. But that's not the idea of this. This is all about positioning, guys. Everything that's going on right now is keeping myself on the lookout for enemies, and I'm going to wind it on a little bit towards the end bit, but you can see what I'm doing. I'm just positioning myself perfectly to keep an eye out for everyone. The storm slowly starts to get ready to move, and I'm just ready to take anyone out in any necessary situation where I believe I can win. If I don't think I can win the situation, I'll try and get away from that situation and put myself in a situation that I do think I can win. And I think if you play Fortnite like that, you are going to guarantee yourself a win every single time. You can see me here taking a few shots off at that guy, going for the headshot, getting a nice body shot on him. Perfect situation there to take that opportunity. But now I know there's some people to my right who will know I'm here. I thought, you know, what's the point of engaging with that guy over there straight away? Just keep myself low again. He knows I'm here now, so I know probably 3 or 4 people know exactly where I'm positioned. So why do I want to engage and give away my positions to allow people to get the kill on me? I don't. So simply I'm just chilling here, getting myself ready. Engage with them people on the bottom right and thinking, what do I need to do? I need to place a wall in front of me and then maybe readjust my stairs or stand up near the top of the stairs. So that's what I go and do. I kind of get myself in a good position to block off the guy to the in front of me, or technically to the left of me right now. And now I start firing a few RPGs down there to reveal the guy who was in the bush, who had to come out of the bush because of the storm. And now I'm kind of trying to steal the kill so I can grant myself that extra health bonus if required. Obviously in this situation the health bonus is not required. Keeping an eye on that other guy as well, which is key. So obviously I didn't get the health bonus, I didn't get the kill, someone else may have got a health bonus. So now I think, you know, maybe it's time to move past. So I'm going to speed up the gameplay a little bit and show you guys the ending of this game, because simply all I'm doing is trying to rearrange myself into a good position. I got that guy up there where I got to keep building to dodge his bullets. He hasn't hit me yet, which is really useful. Got to keep running and get inside of this kind of air tunnel that I like to call them, or the bubble things. Get myself up in the sky with my glider, and what I keep doing is trying to get the height here. Unfortunately, this was kind of a bad play, I guess. It's not 100% bad, but basically using that allowed me to get into the circle. So here is a replay of what exactly happened towards the end of this game. So you can see we're actually 22 minutes into this game, and there's that guy camping underneath the statue right there. That is the only reason I lost. I engaged with a build fight, or in a build fight with this guy, and he was actually quite a good player. He wasn't better than me, he was decent, but he wasn't outbuilding me. I was definitely outbuilding him, but he was just getting the high ground on me, but I was definitely protecting myself. Unfortunately, I got in a situation, you can see I protected myself again. He fired a shotgun shot at me, I protected 100%, again protecting myself here, again dodging his bullets, so he hasn't actually really hit me for that much damage right here, so I'm doing pretty well on health. The most unfortunate thing is this guy here who is camping right here, and he's just getting so lucky on my builds. I'm trying to build up, but unfortunately it just doesn't work, and he just comes around this corner and I'm not even expecting it at all, and I didn't even know he was there, and he takes a shotgun shot off at me. Obviously I've taken a little bit of damage from that fight. He must have got about a 158 hit or something, and he almost just one-shots me and takes me out straight away. Then he's inside the storm and also gets another shotgun off straight away and gets the W. That's just an unlucky situation from someone who had a great positioning underneath the statue, and it's one of them situations that you just don't want to happen in Fortnite, but it did happen. But anyway, moving on to the next point which I want to bring up in today's video on how to win. This is a great technique for rotational skills, and it's something which I used in my next game straight after this one, and that was the baller. Now you got to consider the baller's only just recently been added in, and it has been reduced with the storm respawn rate to 50. I just mentioned this before, but I thought I'd mention it again so you guys can make note. And simply what I'm doing in this game is I took my baller, and there's only 5 people left in the game, and I got a few snipes off in this game, to be honest. Nothing major, but some decent snipes which really did help me out, and obviously that got me in a good position with some decent loot and stuff. And using this baller throughout the entire game, basically that's what I've been doing. Taking the high ground with it. I actually spawned at Polar Peak for this one, and I managed to grab it. I think I actually spawned not at Polar Peak, but at the I completely for Frosty Flats, that's it. Completely forgot the name of the location then. So I dropped at Frosty, grabbed myself a baller and went up to Polar Peak, sniped a few people off Polar, then moved to the Viking village, and simply I'm just using the baller to rotate. I'm just staying in the baller until I get a good position where I know I can snipe someone, and I just repeat that for the entire game. It's such a good tactic, especially if the circle gets formed over by the actual Frosty itself. You know, if you land Frosty, guys, and the circle is over Frosty, and grab yourself a baller, you can take Polar Peaks for height, you can take the Viking village for height. There's a lot of locations you can pick for height. I feel like if the play's on that left hand side of the map, the west side of the map rather than the east side, obviously you're going to have a better kind of high ground situation if you're playing on the west side of the map than if you are on the east side. I feel like the high ground in the east is really mainly Paradise Palms, and there aren't that many tall hills anywhere else, so you definitely want to be playing in the west side if you've got a baller, because it's really going to come more in, well, it's definitely going to come in handy a lot more. You can see me here using the baller to climb the mountain, and this was only as the ballers just got released, so I wasn't the best with them, but I managed to do exactly what I wanted to do. Now I did mess up a little bit here, and I did make a bad decision to engage in a few fights with this baller, feeling a little bit confident. I don't know why 100% I did feel that confident. You can see me here trying to bash that player. I managed to bash him for about 18 damage. I get out my baller, taking on this guy in a build fight, and I actually don't do very well in the build fight. I kind of fall back a little bit, and I actually take a lot of fall damage. Then I'm thinking, oh no, this is not going to end well. I've kind of given this guy huge high ground, so what I'm doing here is trying to position myself on the lower part of the build, should I say, trying to block up above, wait for him to come down and try and get some damage on him. Luckily I managed to take the high ground there again, not too well though, taking some L's on the build, and now I've taken a lot of damage and not really much has been going on. I've got 2 HP, I've run straight back to my baller and bail out of there ASAP. I know there's another player coming into the fight as well, and luckily enough my kind of baller itself comes in very useful and manages for me to escape the fight, which was just amazing. And I happen to have a chug jug in my inventory from one of my previous sniper kills, and that again, it's kind of lucky. I kind of escaped the fight on 2 HP, but usually I wouldn't recommend engaging in fights like that. I just simply get your baller out of there and just kind of position yourself in the position I'm currently in right now, away from the fight. As soon as I found that guy, I should have really bailed straight away. I just felt a little bit too confident, and I wasn't actually going for a win really in this game. I was definitely testing out the idea of landing at Frosty and grabbing the baller, but I definitely wasn't going for a win. And obviously at this point now I thought, I've already bailed the fight, there's only 3 enemies remaining, I may as well just go for the W. So I've now got a position where I can kind of take the baller again and just use the baller to get good positions, and that's what I'm simply doing. I'm thinking, should I take the baller out of here? I'm thinking, oh, you know what, we've got the next circle, we are located in the next circle now. You can see it's just formed. I kind of can leave the baller now. I've got full HP and full shield, luckily enough, because of that chug jug. It was a perfect opportunity for a chug jug, that right there, and now I can position myself ready in the next circle. So I'm just building up a little base, and positioning is key for easy victory royales. I'm destroying this tree right here, trying to get my mats up, because obviously in that build fight I did sacrifice a lot of materials, which I was kind of disappointed about. I just didn't expect to use that many materials in that fight, but I did, so I guess I was kind of annoyed about that. But I've kind of positioned myself in a good location, ready to take anyone out, and I see the people kind of, I don't know if they'd launch padded or somehow got over there, somehow maybe glider redeployed, but I saw them go opposite, kind of over there. So I'm now kind of covering myself up, just keeping myself in a nice safe position, and then someone else engages in the fight. Now I can see this guy over here. I'm trying to take a few shots off him. I actually do throw in a few of the gas grenades as well, and then I get shot from the right, who's someone I didn't really notice was there. I know obviously he's there now because I've already played the game, but right then when I was playing this game I didn't know he was over there, so I was kind of worried about that. And I take a sniper shot of him and take an absolute L with that shot. I should have hit that for the entire game. I've been hitting all my sniper shots off Polar Peak, and then a simple sniper shot like that, I just misjudge it by maybe a few centimeters and then miss the shot, and obviously he gets away with it. So now I'm kind of concerned, but luckily enough the other player has given up shooting at me, because obviously I'm building out of metal. It'll take a while for him to shoot some of the stuff down that's already constructed, and decided to engage with someone else. So now I've kind of got a good position, and I know that if I get down from here and get in a good location for the next circle, I can take a W. Simply what I'm doing here is trying to take some good sniper shots at this guy. I know they're in a build fight, so they're not going to have time to shoot at me unless they're very talented and somehow decide to take a random sniper shot at me. And again, I'm not hitting the snipers, I'm just not having the sniper shots I want at this end game. I try and throw a few of these stink bombs in, the gas grenades, but it's not really doing too much. It's kind of getting a few shots off that. Managed to get some good hits there in that one, but yes, someone gets the regen, so I decided to spray in with my dual pistols with my free burst, and it just wasn't working. And I did drop my AR at some point, so I don't actually have an AR in this fight. So now I've got to try and get myself up close with this guy to get the W. I don't have an AR, but I do have some decent pistols, and I can see the guy down there. So simply I'm going to take this launch pad and then rotate over towards the circle, and as the circle is going to be moving in, I'm going to get myself behind one of these trees. Good position. The guy's not going to notice me there. I kind of used the distraction to get there, and obviously I take the W using the dual pistols on him and get 2 shots off and get an easy win. The distraction I used right there was obviously to shoot at him first. He was a bit concerned I was shooting him. Rotate out, he didn't know, hid behind the trees, landed in, got in a good position, and then took the opportunity to take the shot and get an easy win in Fortnite. Again, that is something which you guys can apply to your game. I do hope this rotational video type style has worked. Remember to stay in the battle bus, and another tip you can use when you're staying in the battle bus is mark where it's coming in, and then put your marker where the bus is going out. That will allow you to kind of mark exactly where the battle bus is traveling by using both markers, and obviously you can take a look at your map to see where the players most likely may have landed in your area. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to see more of these tips and tricks videos, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you've made it right to the end of this video, comment down below AFK backwards. Obviously that's the style of play that I've used in this, so comment that down below, AFK backwards. So that could be KFA, would it be? I think it will be KFA or AFK backwards. You can just type that if you want to. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new around, and consider sticking around for daily Fortnite content. And once again, this is Postbox Pat signing out.